Greetings from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. My name is Charles McCall, and I want to share with you in just a few minutes about something that really helped me as I was developing as a leader many years ago. And that is understanding the difference between a worker, a manager, and a leader. I discovered this book many years ago, Secrets of Effective Leadership by F.A. Mansky Jr. Mr. Mansky was the director of Federal Express at that time. I picked this book up in an airport, had some time to read. This may have been the first time that I began to understand the difference between a manager and a leader. Very important to understand that the thinking of a manager, the thinking of a leader, the behavior and work of a manager, the behavior and work of a leader is very different. I believe that a manager must have some leadership traits and a leader must have some manager traits, but the thinking is very different. I read this book not too many years ago also. This is just a photocopy. I've given this book away so many times that all I have left is a photocopy of it. I don't have the original anymore. This is The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. This is a story. It's a story about a woman who was a worker, who became a manager and eventually became a leader, but she had to change some major things in her life. If we were going to compare the three, I could summarize. A worker focuses on his or her job. A manager focuses on his or her group. A leader focuses on strategy for the future. A worker sees his or her picture, and they have to. And by the way, I'm not belittling a worker in any way. We need billions of them in this world, and they're valuable and they're skilled in what they do. So I'm not belittling that at all. But I'm sharing this in case there may be some that are watching, some that are listening, that want to rise to a new level. You have it in your heart. You'd like to become a manager. You'd like to become a leader. It's important to understand that there's a process involved and there are changes that you have to make, specific changes that you have to make. So please don't get me wrong. I'm not belittling a worker or a manager and saying the leader is best in any way. Everybody has their roles. Everybody has their calling. But a worker focuses on his or her job. Whether it's making rings or jewelry, or whether it's welding, or whether it's the service industry or serving in some way, they focus on that job. A manager focuses on the organization and the structure and those that are working together with him to make the organization better. A leader focuses on generations. Focuses not just on this generation, but focuses on future generations, the future generation of the organization, of the business, or of the church. A worker focuses on what is in front of him or her. A manager focuses on what's underneath him or her, the people, the organizational structure. And the leader focuses on what's in the future and what is yet to come. And so that's a brief summary of the difference between the three. In order to change, in order to go up to a new level, if that's what you feel that you're being called to do, that's what's in your heart to do, you have to make some changes. The first change is you must change your thinking. You must change your thinking about yourself. You have to understand who you are first and what your role currently is, but then you have to change your thinking about yourself, and you have to start seeing yourself. If you're a worker, you have to start seeing yourself as a manager. And if you're a manager, you have to start seeing yourself as a leader. Now, there's a verse in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, that says, iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And so it's good, if you want to become a manager, to hang out with successful managers. And if you want to become a leader, it's good for you to hang out with successful leaders. So you have to change your way of thinking about who you are and what you want to do. You have to begin to see what you want to do. And you do have to understand the differences that I've just simply explained. The other thing that you have to change is your actions, what you do. You have to change from doing the work yourself to delegating what you're doing to someone else and training them thoroughly and then moving on to the next level. And if you're a manager, you have to do the same thing. You have to delegate what you're doing, and you have to begin to start doing something new. If you're a worker, you have to start doing manager stuff. If you're a manager, you have to start doing leadership stuff. It means you may not be able to stop it all. Stop doing the old job, the old actions all at once, but you need to be moving in that direction. Less and less of being a worker, more and more of managerial activities. Less and less of being a manager and more of doing leadership activities. And I said that starts with changing your thinking and changing your actions. You find someone that you can train thoroughly to do what you're doing so you can do something new. This is just one lesson in a whole series of lessons on leadership that I've been teaching in the Cambodian Leadership Institute, of which I'm the director. And I've been teaching about how the biblical prophet Moses went from being a worker to a manager to a leader. There were 7 changes that he had to go through, and this is not the first one, but it's one of them that I felt was very helpful. So stay tuned on this channel, and in the future we'll be sharing more that will help you to be successful in the calling that you have in this life.